A freilich in Chanukah, and we hope that everybody's well. In this week's Parsha, the Pasuk tells us that when Yosef saw his brothers with Binyamin, he ordered that the supervisor of his house should have meat slaughtered for a special meal. Tvayach, tevach, v'hachein. Now the question is, did he mean it literally, that the meat should be shechted according to halacha, or not necessarily? Now the Gemara tells us that he actually had them shech the meat in their presence, so it should be 100% kosher for them to eat it. However, Rashi makes no mention of this in his Pirush. Now, that could mean that according to the simple understanding of the pasuk, Pshut Mikra, Yosef served them meat which was not shechted. Now, before Matan Torah, that wasn't the requirement. As a matter of fact, the laws of Shechita only came into effect when the Yidden entered Eretz Yisrael after leaving Mitzrayim. But on the other hand, we know that the Aves, and according to some, the Shvatim, kept the entire Torah even before it was given. So, how did Yosef serve them such meat, and how did the brothers eat from it? So the Mefarshim discuss it. There's a possibility to say that Yosef did not believe that his brothers were careful in it because it was before Matan Torah, and he had what he had previous experience with them, and the brothers had a heter not to eat from it because of Shalom because of Kavod el Malchus. They were invited for a royal meal. There are different discussions and suggestions given. But what's the lesson for us? So the Rebbe tells us that when you are having guests, you're doing achnasas arachim, you should provide for them in an oifen of hachava, in an ample, abundant manner. You should even provide for them certain amenities and foods which, according to some people who are extra stringent, they wouldn't have such activities or foods. It obviously has to be 100% kosher. Obviously, you can't fool them. They shouldn't be misled to have something that they wouldn't have. But you should make it available. It's up to them to choose. And that's the proper way of hosting guests. You don't impose your chumras, your stringencies on other people. And by doing the above hayra and increasing in Avos Yisrael, we will undo the cause of Galus, which was the opposite of Avos Yisrael, and we will bring the Geula speedily in our days. Now, on a practical note, the Rebbe did encourage in several occasions that one should maintain their hidurim regarding kashrus even when they are a guest, and they shouldn't be embarrassed to explain their host that they keep a certain hidur if they have to. So that's from the guest point of view. And there's an interesting story with one of the mashpiyim within one of the Chabad yeshivas who invited some of his students to his home for Shabbos, and he offered them ice cream. Now we know that in the Hasidic world, especially by yeshiva bachrim, ice cream is considered to be a taiva, an extra type of nash, like a luxury or an indulgence. So the bachrim partook from the ice cream. After Shabbos, the mashpia met the bachrim and he asked them, how is it possible you're eating ice cream? He said, you offered it to us, you gave it to us. He said, I as a host have to offer it, but you as a Chassidish bachar have to politely refuse. And there's also an interesting story I read of Ari Levin from Yerushalayim, very well-known figure in Yerushalayim, that when he would attend a simcha where he wasn't sure whether the food was 100% according to his liking as far as hechsher is concerned, he would prepare it and bring along some cookies, and he would eat from his own cookies, and people wouldn't realize it. So like this, he didn't make people feel uncomfortable. So we have to balance keeping our own hidurim, of course, but at the same time, we should still be a gracious host and offer people whatever they may need. And Hashem should matzliach us in doing the right thing, and we should find favor in the eyes of Hashem and people. Kol tov and a freilich Chanukah.